Last time. This, that, this, these, those, this, that. Also, this. Fuel's running a little low. Incredibly low, in fact. Oh. Which got us some new science, and wasn't tense at all. And now, this. Dres 2 is my next generation of manned capsule. I launched a prototype version of this spacecraft, Dres 1, to rescue some more stranded astronauts from low Kerbal orbit. Kind of as a test. It is designed in a similar style to the Apollo command module. I like it a lot. Today, this craft shall be taking Valentina and Bob into an orbit of the Moon to do some science and further the capabilities of our space program. The Dual 2 launcher is quite capable. Its first stage has 2 Reliant engines fueled by what looks like 4 tanks, but is actually 6. There are 2 more clipped into the middle, which also act as a bit of structural support. I don't think that's cheating. They've been scaled up to 2 meters using the Tweak Scale mod. Stage 2 is a standard scaled up tank with 2 swivel engines to boost the command module into orbit. The service stage itself is able to transfer to the Moon and reach a bounded high orbit with just enough to return home. The crew can see Kerbin recede through these nice windows on the Gemini style command pod, designed of course for getting a good view during docking. Valentina also went on a brief EVA, to stretch her legs I suppose, and to open up the service bay. In here we have some science experiments, 2 great big batteries and a life support container. It's very small, but is enough to keep 2 Kerbals supplied for an okay amount of time. There is also a tiny deployable probe, which, once in orbit, can be dropped out the side to complete a few satellite contracts, and be used for relaying future communications. Bob took care of the deployment. It's only got 1 solar panel, which wasn't facing the sun. Bob, however, was quick to quite literally use his head to solve the problem. Once charged, the probe can orient itself and head off on its mission. Meanwhile, Dres 2 has very little fuel remaining, but it does only take a small amount to return from the Moon. Using just a tiny puff from the engines, Bob and Valentina dropped into the low space region. Here, they can gather biome-specific EVA reports and low space science. They orbited twice before burning at that newly lowered periapsis to get a more efficient return home. That mission nets us a whole stack of science and funds, which can be reinvested into the space program right away. But now, I have to level with you. I only had access to that bell-shaped engine because of a test contract, which has now been completed somehow. I've been incorporating that engine into the Dres design, and a bunch of other stuff, which can now not be launched until I have that tech node unlocked. It's worth 160 science, and currently behind a 9 million fund paywall. Lucky for me, there is a few things I can do, like getting science from the surface of Minmus. Min 1 was packaged with a lander for just such a situation. As the biome and terrain scans are mostly complete, it's time to head for the surface. Minmus has such low gravity that this tiny probe can easily pick its landing site, and then do a series of hops to visit loads of different biomes. I chose this location, near the poles, as there are a few biomes close together. There was so much fuel remaining, I could even hop over to one of the equatorial biomes. Since that was so easy, I decided to do the same again with a dedicated, better equipped lander. That didn't go quite so well. So I did it again, which went better, but not great. A Duna transfer window has just arrived, and I intend to hit it. This is Sol 1. There is not a chance I will still have connection by the time it reaches Duna. I just don't have the communication technology. But simply initiating a flyby will unlock contracts for the planet. On the off chance that I do have connection, Sol 1 will be able to get into orbit. As I don't yet have extendable solar panels, here is my rather novel solution, using struts and robotic hinges. For the first time in Kerbal history, the home world is seen as a tiny blue dot among a million others, as Sol 1 sets off on its long voyage to another planet. What will be found? It is a new and boundless frontier. Finally today, I'm going to build a space station. It's quite simple. One habitation module with a solar panel array, one Moho spacecraft, and one Dres spacecraft. Moho 5, crewed by Bill, arrived with no issues. But I rather ballsed up the launch of Dres 3. This does, however, give me a great opportunity to explain Rendezvous. You can see here that when Dres 3 is lower than the station, it moves faster. Both spacecraft are circling around the planet at incredible speed. Their position is indicated by these orange and purple markers. You can do this quite aggressively in KSP, though do keep in mind how fast your craft can slow down, and your fuel level. We will cover docking in a future episode. That completes this contract and gives me a ton of money, which I have plans for.